welcome to the Indie Brew Show, where we spill the tea on indie games. My name is Beck.
And I'm Ant, and today we have a stacked lineup of indie game goodness, and we're going to be kicking it off with Freshly Brewed, a cupful of the latest indie game news.
Freshly Brewed.
If you're a fan of games that make you think before you act, whether that's managing an empire, commanding troops, or building the perfect deck, Tacticon 2025 is one event you won't want to miss. Returning to Steam this July, Tacticon is a digital celebration of all things strategy, hosted once again by Hooded Horse and Fire Squid. The event highlights a broad range of strategy titles, from turn-based tactics and grand strategy to deck builders, city builders, and everything in between. While the full schedule are still under wraps, everything points to a packed July for strategy lovers. Last year's event drew in over 2 million players and featured more than 100 games, so expectations are high, and if past years are anything to go by, the surprises will be worth the wait.
Great news for fans of perfectly arranged chaos. A Little to the Left is back with its new packed update, and it's bringing a whole shelf's worth of fresh content and fixes that make tidy time even smoother. Packing the pantry theme, this update introduces 3 handcraft snack pack puzzles, each themed around food and crafted with the signature satisfying arrangement magic. They sit alongside 3 brand new puzzle types in daily tidy mode, featuring stamps, pencils, and sticky notes. There's also a long requested archive mode that lets you revisit past seasonal puzzles anytime, so no more missing out on holiday themed tidies. And the great news is, this update's live right now.
Dystopica, the stylish cyberpunk city builder, has just dropped its big 1-year anniversary update called Meditations. This fresh patch brings new districts, a lush new soundtrack, enhanced lighting and weather effects, and even more atmosphere to the futuristic cityscape you love to build and explore. The update introduces 2 brand new districts, Labbers Row, a brutalist research hub filled with cutting-edge tech, and Seaville, a dense, vibrant, favela-style neighborhood, packed with narrow alleys and sky bridges. The update also features an original soundtrack by Sasha Dikisian, adding a moody, cinematic layer that fits Dystopica's neon-lit world perfectly. This is a massive update, and it's out right now.
Big news in the indie automation space. Sandustry, the physics-driven pixel factory game from Lanto Games, has officially partnered with indie publisher Hooded Horse for its upcoming full release. If you haven't heard of Sandustry yet, it's a brilliant side-scrolling automation sandbox where every pixel behaves like a physical object. Sand absorbs water, ice melts, steam rises, creating a dynamic, ever-changing world to build factories in. It's like Factorio meets Terraria, but with a uniquely tactile twist that's already earned rave reviews during its demo phase. If you're a fan of creative automation, physics-based puzzles, or just love a good sandbox to tinker in, Sandustry is one to watch.
After plenty of hype and anticipation, the crossover update between Power World and Terraria has finally landed, bringing together 2 of the most beloved pixel-powered worlds in one exciting new experience. If you've been waiting to see Power World's monster catching, crafting, and survival gameplay mixed with the classic 2D sandbox adventure of Terraria, this update delivered exactly that. It added fresh Terraria-inspired creatures, items, and iconic biomes straight into Power World's vast open world. The update perfectly blends Terraria's nostalgic pixel art and adventurous spirit with Power World's energetic cooperative gameplay. Players now have brand new ways to explore, fight, and build alongside their pals. Whether you're in it for the multiplayer chaos, monster taming, or just to witness how these 2 indie favourites collided, this update has been well worth the wait. The Steam Summer Sale is back, and it's once again the perfect excuse to give your wishlist some much deserved love and maybe break your backlog in the process. Running from now through to July 11, this year's sale brings thousands of discounts across the entire store, but as always, it's the indie game stealing the spotlight. Whether you've had your eye on that cozy sim, brutal roguelite, or narrative adventure that everyone's been talking about, now is the time to get it. Highlights include huge savings on recent hits like Dredge, Viewfinder, and Backpack Hero, alongside deep discounts on classics like Hollow Knight, Celeste, and Spiritfarer. If you're into discovering something new, Steam's homepage is loaded with curated picks, themed collections, and even a few limited time demos from upcoming titles. Whether you're hunting for hidden gems or filling out your library for the year ahead, the Steam Summer Sale is one of the best times to stock up on great games without breaking the bank. Are you looking for something new to pick up this week, well, we've got you covered. Here's what's on the menu. Antro is a rhythm-infused platformer set in a dystopian underground world, where you'll solve puzzles and traverse urban wastelands to the beat of a bass-heavy soundtrack. With stunning 2.5D visuals and a revolutionary story about rebellion through music, it's part cinematic platformer, part political statement, all wrapped in killer vibes. This one launches June 27th.
Giant mechs, massive explosions. Mecha Break is a slick multiplayer brawler where you pilot fully customizable mechs in fast-paced PvP and PvE battles. Whether you're dashing through the sky or unloading heavy firepower, every fight feels like an anime showdown. Launches July 1st.
Chaos is calling. No Heroes Here 2 is finally launching into 1.0 this week, and it's bigger, weirder, and even more chaotic than the original. You'll team up with friends or go solo if you're brave to defend your castle, craft ammo, man the cannons, and survive waves of enemy madness. Version 1.0 drops July 1st.
Blood Rush Undying Wish is an extremely fast-paced hack-and-slash roguelike set in a gothic, undying world. Dash, shoot, and strike with ability combos while searching for Death, who has apparently gone missing. This one's coming out July 1st.
Bargain Brews!
Are you looking to get the best bang for your buck this week? Here are some bargain brews for you to pick up.
We're going to kick this off with Cast and Chill, the idle fishing game that is just adorable and looks so relaxing. You can pick this one up for 20% off. And Lens Island 1.0 has just released, and to celebrate, they are 35% off this week. This one is an absolute must play. And if you're looking for a cozy job simulation style game, then Ship Inc. is one to play. This one is 40% off this week to celebrate its launch.
Next up, we've got Dystopica for 40%, the game that we mentioned a little bit earlier on, and Rent Lord for 20% off. Alternatively, we've also got Sable on Epic Games, which is the free game for the week, going from 27th to the 4th.
If you're looking for a new management sim tycoon style game, this is absolutely one that is completely flying under the radar at the moment. It's a brewery tycoon game called Ale Abbey. Now this one has just had its second major update to early access, so it is the perfect time to jump into this game. But essentially it's a side-scrolling tycoon where you run your own monastery, you craft ale recipes, and then you sell those ale recipes. So you need to hire your monks to be able to run your brewery and make all of your ale. You need to hire your nuns to be able to do like research and things like that too. But it's just got a really, really solid gameplay loop and a solid feel for it. When this first dropped back in February, I played through all of the available content because it was just so good. And it is definitely one that is worth checking out if you're looking for a tycoon game or a management game with a bit of a different style.
I love those tavern style management games. And then the weird concept of it being an abbey is also intriguing.
It's so fun. And because it's set in that like 1500s, like 1500s. So you've got like the Vatican and stuff like that. And you have him, like he sets you different tasks and things like that. So it's really got a cool vibe to it. And the new update just added like competitions and things like that. So it's got a lot more content in there too. So it's definitely one I think I'm going to have to dive back into soon.
Oh, it's got a cool art style too.
Yeah, it's very cool. Highly recommend.
If you're a fan of adventure-style games or platformers or the old retro games similar to Banjo-Kazooie and Yooka-Laylee, this one is definitely one that you need to look into. We've spoken about it a couple of times on the channel already, but I feel like it's still flying under the radar, especially for how good it is. And that is Paperclay. I have played a fair chunk of this now, and I am really, really enjoying it. It has all the things that make a good platformer adventure game, with some really cute characters and some really cool story elements. With the addition of a rotating world, it brings in some really cool game mechanics and a lot of really cool areas to explore as well. And just It's a funny game. I really, really enjoyed it. It is currently sitting under 200 reviews on Steam, and it definitely deserves so much more. With a little bit over 6 hours of gameplay for $20, it's well worth it. If you're still unsure and you want to see a little bit of it, we do have a Let's Play up on the channel right now. That's the first hour of the game. Me exploring through it. I do give my thoughts on a fair bit of it as well, but for the most part, it's me just enjoying the game and really sinking my teeth into it. So go and check that out.
So for this week's Spill the Tea, we are talking about a semi-controversial kind of concept, and that is gaming subscriptions. So this month we were lucky enough to get gifted a month's worth of PC Game Pass from Xbox to be able to check out some of the new games on PC Game Pass, and it kind of got me thinking about gaming subscriptions and whether or not they're actually good value, and whether or not they're good value if you're specifically looking for indie games to play. So having a look at the PC Game Pass kind of store, it's pretty good. Like, there is a ton of games on there, ton of indie games on there too, which is good to see. It's an interesting kind of concept that I think we've seen come up more and more over the past few years.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Game Pass is really good for those ones that you're a little bit unsure of. You know, you've watched the trailer, you've read about it, and you're like, I just don't know whether I want to invest a massive amount of money into this, especially those bigger ones. If you've got the Game Pass, you can just jump on, download it, give it a quick shot and go, you know what? I love this. And for the most part, I hate to bring it up. I always bring it up, but Slay the Spire. I got onto that through Xbox Game Pass, and now I've bought it on 3 devices. So it's not like, you know, you try and then you're like, oh, well, that was good, and then no more money's going to it. There is that potential to make that move onto purchasing the game as well, especially if you really, really love it. So I see it as a bit of a demo situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, you get to demo the game before you actually buy it. I think that's really, really cool.
I think it's definitely cost effective because, like, in Australia, I think it's $13 a month, which is pretty good considering the lineup of games. So even things like The Alters is on there. I'm pretty sure that's like $45, $40 to buy.
Yeah.
And I think specifically with story-driven games like that too, that you're probably only really going to play once, it's kind of really budget friendly to do it through Game Pass instead, because realistically, you're going to probably play through that within a month. And then you're only paying $13 instead of the $45, which, I mean, it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good value in terms of that. As you said, playing, like, being able to try a game, being able to just, like, casually play a game too, I find it's really good. So I've had PC Game Pass for a while, paying for it myself. And I find it's really good for when you're just, like, looking for something new to play. And you can just have a scroll on there, and then you're like, yeah, cool, I'll just play this. That's cool. It's like, it's low risk gaming because you've already paid for the access to these games. So why not just try them? It's not like you have to, like, pay for them and then refund it and all of that if you don't like it.
Exactly. Yeah. It also brings across a lot of chances for console players who don't get the full indie game experience across on Steam to give a lot of these games a shot. I know one of my friends who's got it. He wasn't big into indie games. He was very much a AAA guy. He was, but you know, I think we've spoken about it, that AAA just feels like it's lacking a little bit recently, or a lot, depending on your opinion. But he started making the move across to indie, and he was like, I don't know what to play because, you know, AAA games have got a reputation. Some of these indie studios I've never heard of before. So point me in the right direction. I was like, dude, just go onto Game Pass and download some games.
Yep.
It doesn't cost you anything apart from the initial subscription. So it's a good way for console players to get across as well and give some of these games that we all talk about a shot.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, PC Game Pass isn't the only subscription. There are a few other ones. I think ones like Humble Bundle can be really good for if you want to own the game too, because you actually get the full game codes as part of that. So I think it's a bit more expensive, but you do keep all of the games forever. So I guess that's one downside of PC Game Pass is games disappear off there all the time and then you can't play them anymore, which is sad. I think Bellatro's disappeared off there recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I was sad about because I really like that game.
That's another one that I had on Game Pass and then I bought on my iPad because I was like, I don't mind playing a couple of rounds of Bellatro on while we're out camping.
Yeah.
It's a semi-relaxing
It's a great game. It's a great game.
But yeah, you're right. The licensing changes and they take it away from specific streaming services. It's the same as Netflix. Who's got the license to the game rights depends on what streaming platform it's on.
Yeah. And I think speaking of Netflix Gaming is probably one of the underdog kind of PC or underdog subscriptions, I suppose. Netflix Gaming has quite a lot of indies on it, but word on the street is that some of those are disappearing. So we'll see. But Netflix Gaming has got quite a lot of games on there you can play now. The only downside of that is they're only on mobile. You can't play them on PC. But gaming on the go, playing on your iPad, your tablet, your phone, it's definitely a viable option considering most of us have Netflix subscriptions anyway, and it's included in your Netflix subscription. So it's a pretty reasonable kind of subscription, I would say.
And there's some big games like some of the phone games for Into the Dead, which we've spoken about a little while ago. The prequels, I guess, to the PC games on there. They've got things like Dead Cells, Terra Nil. What else have they got? Death's Door. There's a bunch on there.
Yeah.
And once again, if you don't have a PC and even if you don't have a console and you're usually a phone gamer, this gives you access to some games that you probably wouldn't usually download on the App Store or, on a device. It's fantastic. There's actually, now that I think about it, there's a lot of story-driven games on Netflix. Looking right now, actually, I can see there's a bunch leaving. Hades is leaving.
Yeah.
The Case of the Golden Idol's leaving. Carmen Sandiego. Man, I forgot about that. There's a lot. I'm seeing a lot of red stickers saying leaving soon. So
yeah, I'm
be
not
interesting
sure
to see what happens.
What's going on there, but I mean, it does kind of pave the way. A lot of these ports that are on Netflix aren't on mobile, organically. So potentially means that some of these games might actually be getting mobile releases themselves, which is interesting. And I know we've seen some big games come to mobile. Bellatro, as you mentioned, is a big one. Little to the Left, Dredge. There's quite a few big names that are coming to mobile now. So some of these mobile-based subscriptions, even things like Apple Arcade, and the Google Play Pass kind of have a bit more relevance because we're getting some of these big indie games porting across to mobile now, which is incredible, especially if you don't have access to a gaming PC or you don't have $700 to spend on a new Nintendo or whatever it might be. Having the accessibility to be able to play these games on your phone is awesome.
It changes it up a little bit as well because I've seen kids who've got controllers that attach to the phones, and a lot of these games are coming with the ability to use a controller with the phone, which is also insane because I'm sure you were the same as well, Beck. When we were younger, phone games were
Snake.
very one directional. Yeah.
Classic
it was
games.
Snake, but even then past that there were in my teen years, it was either story-driven games where you get to pick the dialogue options, or it was Mario platformer games because all you could really do was press up, across, and a couple of buttons for jumping. But now we're seeing stuff like, I know this is not indie, but this shows you how big these games can be. We're seeing stuff like GTA San Andreas on a phone.
It's ridiculous.
That's just nuts.
Yeah.
That is absolutely pure madness.
Yeah.
And people get controllers for it, and it's like a little handheld.
Yeah, the backbone controllers are cool.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. One thing I did want to mention with this idea of accessibility as well is that Xbox Game Pass, we said before that in our opinions, the PC Game Pass is one of the better ones, if not the best. The one thing that really sets it aside, it's still slowly developing, but the cloud gaming in collaboration with the Amazon Fire TV stick. Because this is massive. You plug it into your TV, you've got your Xbox controller, which connects via Bluetooth, and then you can play Xbox games on your TV without the console. There's a couple of setbacks for this. The first one is you need a Wi-Fi connection, obviously, and a really good one. Trust me, you do not want the issues that come with a poor one. And the other one is that in general, it can be a little bit laggy either way. But it's still a good start. It is slowly moving towards a thing where people who can't afford the new, $1,000 console can buy. How much is a Fire Stick?
They're only like $80.
Yeah, so and that's a massive difference to be able to play games in any way, shape, or form.
Huge.
So you can get one for $69.
Yeah, there you go, $70.
Yeah, $70. You buy yourself a controller, Xbox One controller, which is, I think they're like 80. Oh, there you go, 64 from Big W currently. Officeworks have got them for 58. So for $100, you can get yourself almost a full console setup, which is really, really cool.
I think the Fire Stick is the perfect example of a great way to play indie games too, because indie games are typically have lower hardware requirements.
Yeah.
So these are the games that are going to play really well through those cloud gaming kind of services, because you're not having to render and stream a lot of really, really high density graphics or anything like that. So it's almost like the perfect indie gaming setup, being able to play with a Fire Stick on your TV with PC Game Pass.
The lower pixelated games would be perfectly fine.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's definitely a feasible way to game now. These gaming subscriptions are becoming better and better, I think. And I think when you look at it, you see so many different companies coming out with them now, and they're really becoming valuable because they're competitive too. And it's really good. I mean, PC Gaming Pass is I feel like it's goated because it's got EA Play. And I think it's got Ubisoft Plus involved in it now.
It's got heaps.
I mean, it's pretty good. Even if you're a AAA gamer, it's good. It's worthwhile getting. I think the absolute, talking AAA style as well, the biggest benefit of the PC Game Pass is the day one releases. Yeah.
A brand new game comes out and it's anywhere between $80 to $100. And you can play it as it releases, not for free, but obviously as part of your $13 subscription to PC Game Pass. Pure insanity.
Yeah, it really is. It does beg the question because, I think with the Switch 2 just releasing and Nintendo having these exclusive games, do you think that Nintendo needs to offer something similar to be able to compete in the market?
So I'm a Nintendo fanboy, right?
Yeah.
Up until recently, Nintendo could do no wrong. I think Nintendo have carved out a market for themselves that is separate from everything else. When we talk about console wars, we talk about the war between Xbox and PlayStation. That's it. When we talk about cross-platform stuff, we talk about the things between Xbox and PlayStation. And then Nintendo just sit off to the side knowing that consumers are going to buy whatever they give us regardless. Unfortunately, I don't think they need to do it to compete because, like I said, people will just buy it. You can see it with the Pokemon release that came out whenever that was, Scarlet and Violet. It was laggy. It's the same thing we've had for 15 years. The story wasn't overly interesting and the updates to the series wasn't crazy. But yet people bought it because it's Pokemon. And I think that's a big issue with Nintendo at the moment. They don't have much competition in the way of the games that they do make, and we're starting to see that because no one's pushing them to do much. Expedition 33 came out.
Yeah.
And everyone's been comparing that to Pokemon. And they're going, wait, you mean this can be done really, really simply by a indie team, yet Nintendo and Pokemon have this laggy game that sometimes is extremely terrible to play. So there is competition coming. But at the moment, Nintendo's just sort of sitting in their own little ballpark going, we're good. I would like to see more competition. So I don't think they care that much. I'd like to see it. I'd love to see a subscription-based thing for Nintendo, and then I can play those games because Nintendo's games are expensive. Like I said, I think that comes to that competitive thing. Like, who else has got Legend of Zelda? Who else is going to do a special on it? No one.
Yeah.
They've got that market.
Yeah.
It's a well-known game that's been going for over 30 years. It's got a dedicated fan base, and there's no other console or PC doing it. So
yeah,
it's sad. Like I said, I'd love for it to happen because games like that, once again, I've got friends who have never played it because they're like, I'm not spending that much money on a Switch and I'm not spending that much money on the game.
Yeah,
I get it. Fair enough.
it's interesting, like thinking about like there are more affordable ways to game. So I wonder if things are going to swap. Speaking of other consoles, though, we haven't talked about PlayStation Plus. Now, I don't own a PlayStation, so I'm not 100% familiar with this.
I do. I was a pretty big PlayStation 4 player. I got a lot of games on that. I bought the PS5, and I've really only used the PS Plus on it. I think I own like 2 games on it. That's it. Otherwise,
it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's the same sort of thing. It's PlayStation exclusives can be expensive, and getting them on the PS Plus is the major benefit because you've got access to a massive library of exclusives. And I think that's the key thing to the PlayStation is the exclusives. Otherwise, if they just offer the same thing as Game Pass, it kind of loses out because Game Pass, you've got the ability across PC and console, where for the PlayStation, you've got really only the console. One thing I am worried about is the potential that this is what it looks like in the future. I still like my physical media, and I still like owning my own games. I don't want this to become the meta or the main thing.
Yeah.
As good as it is, it definitely needs to be a side thing rather than the main focus, in my personal opinion. That's just something it's come up a lot and I'm worried about. If 10 years down the track, I've got a console that just plugs in and I just click what I want. Like Netflix, DVDs are basically dead these days. And I don't want to see that happen to video gaming.
It'll be interesting to see because there are a lot of people who love like yourself collecting. I don't really care. I'm happy with digital stuff. I'm happy with less clutter in my house. I can't scratch a disc. It's great. But I do understand the collecting and the kind of like showing off like your collection of games and that kind of thing. The way that we used to, or like our parents used to have the big DVD collections, and you'd have like the shelves full of DVDs, and you'd always have that one friend who like had like 1 million DVDs, and you'd go to that house. Was that you? It was you.
No, I'm pointing at my shelf behind me that's got all my Xbox 360 games in it. Us as well. We had a massive bookshelf. My parents had hundreds of DVDs. I remember when they first, we moved out and Netflix came in and mum and dad got Netflix. Those DVDs were gone within 4 months. They just got rid of them. They're like, we haven't touched a single one the entire time. I think dad held on to a couple of seasons that he bought.
It's just not the same, is it?
No, it's not.
It's almost like there's not as much value. It's almost like the whole having a credit or debit card compared to having cash. It just doesn't have the same value. Even though it technically does, it doesn't.
And the other thing that I hate, you might get this as well, and this happens on the game subscriptions as well. This is across the board, right? You go, I really want to watch a movie or I really want to play a video game. What am I going to play? Let's go and have a look. There's 4,000 titles. Okay, I'm going to sit here and doom scroll somehow the pictures of movies while I choose what I'm going to watch. an hour later, you're still sitting there going, I should probably go to bed.
Yeah.
It didn't happen with DVDs. I don't know how. It didn't happen with DVDs. Like, I'd sit there occasionally and stare at my DVDs and go, oh yeah. And then in 10 minutes, I'm done. Yeah, that's another issue that I have with it. Anyway.
Yeah. Decision fatigue. But let us know what you think. Have you subscribed to any of the gaming subscriptions? And what do you think about them? Do you think they're good value? Do you like them? Do you hate that you don't own your own games? Let us know all of your thoughts in the comments below. This is games on our backlog we want you to convince us need to get off our backlog.
My game this week is Celeste. I've heard a lot about this game and I have never played it, which is kind of crazy because I am one of those people that I'm a sucker for punishment when it comes to video games, and I love those games where it takes you, 100 attempts at one level or a boss, and you slowly get better at it.
The worst.
I know it's not for
games.
everyone, but I really like them. I think it started off when I was playing like Mario back in the day, and I was just terrible at gaming. But yeah, then it moved to like Dark Souls, and now I'm getting into things like Hollow Knight and similar things to Celeste. I really enjoy them. But yeah, pretty much an absolute brutal platformer. And I don't know much about the story of it. I've seen a lot of gameplay of it because it comes up on TikTok a fair bit, especially with speedruns and things like that. But it's one that I would like to get into. So convince me. Let me know what the selling pitch on it is. Let me know why I should play it.
I haven't played that one either. But I don't like games that punish me because I value my sanity, okay?
I don't know what it is. I think it's the euphoria you get once you've finished a specific part.
Yeah. I do understand that.
I think that's what it is. And I think that's also why I like roguelikes. It's because they are punishing, they're unforgiving. And when you finally beat it, like I was stuck on a floor in Slay the Spire for like 3 months. And I just could not get past it. And this week I finally did it. And when I did it, like I hit my mouse on the desk and I was like, it's that
3
feeling.
months.
I just love it. I just love it.
That is far too long. I would rage quit after like 2 hours, let alone 3 months.
Yeah, it was
not for me.
I don't know. I couldn't get it. It's one of my least favorite characters in the game. So I don't know the character well enough to do well. But yeah. Anyway, Celeste, let me know.
Okay. Well, my game that I need to get off my backlog this week is Strange Horticulture. So this one, I bought it like 2 years ago, I reckon, maybe even 3, and I just haven't picked it up. If you're not familiar with Strange Horticulture, it's like a cult kind of management style game where you run like a horticulture shop, I believe. And it's kind of like weird and kooky and like cool. It's got some cool vibes in there. They are doing another game called Strange Antiques, so I would love to play Strange Horticulture and then be able to play Strange Antiques. But yeah, it looks right up my alley with like all the things, but I just haven't had the time to sit down and play it. So convince me. Why do I need to play this game? Is it worth the hype? Let me know.
I haven't seen this one before. It actually looks really interesting. It looks almost like nightmarish. It's like
psychological horror.
Yeah. Like their faces just look, what?
It's like eerie, kind of creepy. It's almost like The Past Within or like any of the Rusty Lake games. Have you played any of those?
I played the Rusty Lake games. Yes. That is exactly what I'm thinking, actually, now that you said that. Yeah, spot on.
Which I did enjoy the Rusty Lake games. They gave me nightmares, but I enjoyed them. So, you know.
We're definitely doing a co-op playthrough of Little Nightmares 3.
Oh, okay.
Convince Beck.
We'll get back to you on that one.
I do have a little bit of an update on my backlog as well. One of the games that I believe I've mentioned on the show, I had it written down on a sheet saying backlog, but that is Dredge. I finally played Dredge.
Yeah.
And wow. It is fantastic. I didn't expect it to be that good.
I still haven't played that one either.
It is so good.
Okay.
It's one of those ones where you start it and then 4 hours disappears and you're like, I should probably get off now, and then look at the time and go, wait, what? It's kind of got a uneasy, calming feel to it.
Okay.
Where you can feel the tension, but for the most part, at the start of it, not much happens. Occasionally something happens, but not much. And it just lures you into a false sense of security, and then something happens, and you're like, okay, I got to be more careful next time.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it. I'll convince you to get it off your backlog. Play it. No.
Okay.
Taste test.
This week, I have been checking out a couple of games, but the one I'm going to talk about first is Train Valley Origins. So this one is the next game in the Train Valley series. I think it's the 4th game. It might be the 5th. It's the 4th or 5th game. And basically, it's more of a conducting game than like a resource management game, I would say. So you have different stations throughout each map that you play, throughout each level. And each of them has a different resource, and periodically you get trains that will leave each station and they need to go to a different resource station. And so you need to build train tracks between all the different stations, and then you also need to make sure your switches work so that the trains go to where they need to go. I have played a lot of this game this week because it's a really good casual pick. So it's easy to pick up, easy to put down. There's, I think, 40 levels across the whole game, and each level has its own different challenges. So you have things like, different heights that you need to build across, and it's more expensive to build up mountains and down mountains. So that's kind of a challenge. You have games that have like a huge lake in the middle, so you got to figure out how to navigate that. And overall, it's just a really solid game. It is a lot more chaotic than I was expecting it to be. I have blown up a lot of trains playing this game because, look, things just didn't go the way I planned, but it's a lot of fun. It's quite fast paced. You can get through probably 10 levels in like an hour. I did do the first 10 levels as a let's play, so that is on our YouTube if you want to see firsthand how many trains I blew up in 10 levels. Spoiler alert, it was a lot. But it was just a really solid game. Really good if you love kind of that strategic planning, like route planning and that style of thing. We also are lucky enough to have a couple of keys to give away to this game. So if you are interested in winning a Steam key to Train Valley Origins, please leave us a comment below. What should we make them say? Leave us a comment below with your best train pun, and we will choose 2 people to win a Steam code. Impress me. I'm really good at puns, so you need to impress me with your puns, okay?
This week, I played a game that I didn't think I was ever going to play, and that is Date Everything. I picked it up because over the internet, I heard how punny it was, and a lot of the voice actors that are in it are some of my favorite voice actors, and I was so surprised at how much I like this game. I'll get to that in a little bit. Basically, the premise of the game is that you are an employee who's working from home, looking for love, and you're feeling a little bit lonely. You feel like you don't have too many friends. And as this company that you work for starts to kind of use and abuse you, you get a package that gives you these glasses, and with the glasses on, everything in your house comes to life, and each object is a dateable object. So as you meet the different household objects, you can start forming relationships, whether it be romantic, just normal friendships, or even pure hatred. There's a lot of variety in what you can, or how you can interact with the different characters. The thing that separates it from what I was expecting is the additional content. There's a sort of mystery element to it where you get these things called rumors, and you've got to try and search for the objects to progress through the storyline. There's the conversations, which some of them are fantastic. You learn a lot about the different characters, and some of them are really, really bad, where you just meet a character for the first time and go, you know what? I despise you. That's my personal thing anyway. The voice actors are amazing. They've got a stacked lineup of voice actors. There's people like Laura Bailey, who you might know from Critical Role or from her work in tons of video games, but Last of Us is one of them. There is Matt Mercer, Critical Role once again. The voice of Astarion, who I'm mentally blanking on his name. There is so many voice actors, and they all do a fantastic job. It's insane. There's also a data dex, which is kind of like a Pokédex, but of the things that you can date. So as you meet new objects, it gives you a description of the person or the object and what their likes and dislikes are. And then there's the story. And the story so far has actually been insanely interesting. There's a mystery. There's like a detective style mystery. And that's what's grabbing me. I played for an hour. So mentioning that, there will be a first look at this game up on the channel maybe by the time this comes out. If not, shortly after. And I played for the hour. And then I kept playing and kept playing and kept playing because I was just intrigued by this mystery. I needed to know more about what was going on. So it really grabbed me. And I'm not a person who usually plays dating sims. So my taste test for this was fantastic. I've already got some favorite characters. I'm really invested in the story and I'm really keen to see where it goes. So surprising. Really surprising.
It's gotten rave reviews. So
honestly, I can see why.
I think it's so interesting because it's like, on the outside, I suppose, on the outside it looks just like a dating sim. It's like, why would I play a dating sim? But then obviously, yeah.
That's what I'm saying by like the mystery element. I think the mystery in the story really, really props it up as not just a dating sim. It's like a exploration adventure game. You're exploring this house, meeting new characters, and there's a mystery afoot. You're trying to figure it out, and all the while you get to... It's on par with things like Mass Effect without the shooting. Like, it's the same thing. That's basically a dating simulator with an adventure aspect. And yeah, it's just so much more. It's insane. It's insane. It's very good. If you want to give something new a shot, give it a shot. It's intriguing.
This week, we are doing games we would recommend for you based on your coffee order. So we have 5 different coffee orders that we think are pretty standard-ish coffee orders. And for each of them, we are both going to recommend you a game that we think you should try. Are you ready?
I think so. I'm intrigued to see our differing opinions on coffee.
Yes. So the first coffee order we have is a long black.
So long black for me, I see as someone who dislikes their taste buds and loves being a little bit punished from taste. So I'm going with Cuphead. You know, coffee based, okay. Extremely difficult, and you can sip on that long black while punishing yourself playing that game.
That's fair. Okay, my choice for long black. I think typically when I think about black coffee, I think about Americans, right? And I think about, in particular, American Cops. I don't know why, but I'm going to have to go with The Precinct because that is a classic police game. It's America all over it. And I can just imagine drinking a nice like black coffee. Not that it's nice, because I agree you have no taste buds if you drink black coffee. I'm sorry. But drinking down, you know, the cheapest, crappiest cup of black coffee while on the job, The Precinct. 100%.
Yeah. Actually, that suits very well. Now I'm just imagining, a blue uniformed cop drinking a black coffee on a late shift. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that's good.
Out of one of those like semi-opaque glass mugs.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm imagining as well.
That. Yes, specifically. Next up, we have the chai latte.
Okay.
Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like for a chai latte, you like your coffee, but you like it with a bit of spice. Like, it's got to have a bit of extra to it, right? And I think the game that sums that up the most is Creatures of Ava for me, because that is a game that has some really solid gameplay. It's really good adventure, exploration, creature collecting kind of gameplay, but it changes things up a bit because it doesn't really have an attack system, but it still has a battle system, kind of. So it's a bit different, and the story is a bit spicy. So I think Creatures of Ava would be my choice for chai latte.
Very nice. Yeah, I get that. That's a good justification. It's a good justification. We followed the exact same path. Chai latte. I'm someone who likes a little bit of spice in their life, but I thought of spice in a different light.
Okay.
So I put down date everything.
Okay.
Yep,
That
getting a
fits.
little bit spicy. So
Bit steamy.
a little bit steamy. Yeah. That's
It works.
that's I didn't have any other justification except for the spice.
Well, sometimes it's the simplest justifications that are the best.
That's it.
All right, the next coffee order we have is the mocha.
All right. So for this one, my thought process began with just, sweet. But then I really dug into the mocha, right? And I think mochas are for people who want to get that coffee buzz. They want that adrenaline. They want that extra energy. But they don't want their head thinking like they're tasting the bitterness. So they want a little bit of sweet, right? Mm-hmm. So I went with cute, but, a little bit bitter. And that's Little Nightmares.
Okay.
So it's got a cute art style, and then it still gives you that a little bit of adrenaline rush, that little bit of buzz once you hit those scary moments.
Okay, well, I don't think that people who drink mochas actually like coffee. I think that they want to pretend to like coffee so they can feel like an adult, but really they're just in it for the hot chocolate. So I've gone for a game that is sweet and cute and is not adult at all because you don't really like coffee. And that game is Love Ghosty, which is the matchmaking game, but the matchmaking game that is just so adorable and so cute and so sweet and not spicy at all, and is just the most wholesome game I've ever played. It's the mocha.
Very nice. We went two completely separate paths there.
That's fine.
But I originally thought the same thing. I was like, I could go one of two ways. It's either you don't like coffee at all, or you just want the energy kick and
you're sweet with underlying bitterness.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the flat white. Now, I think, I'm going to be honest, if you're drinking a flat white, I feel like you're a basic coffee drinker. Like, I'm sorry, there's nothing going on. There's no chocolate, there's no foam, there's nothing. It's just coffee and milk. And to me, that screams plain Jane. So I've gone with a game that is very, not basic, but it's very cruisy. It's very relaxing. There's not a whole lot of depth to it, but not in a bad way. It's more just like a walking simulator type game, and that game is Botany Manor. And this one will not see any jump scares, anything bad, anything negative. It is just lovely and calm and peaceful, and there's nothing extra that will come out and get you. Still a great game, but it's definitely a flat white.
Yeah, look, I went down a similar route to you, but I went an extra step forward. So I'm in agreement. It's just plain standard flat white, and because you like plain old standard stuff, and you're probably sitting back drinking your flat white thinking, indie? What's an indie game? It's indie games are a little bit too flavorful for you, so you just play solitaire. That's it.
Why does that fit so well though?
That's what it is. Nothing else jumped out to me. I was like, it's flat white is the sort of person, and I feel bad for saying this because I think I just had a flat white technically, that would just play solitaire and occasionally engage in the conversations being like, I've heard of that game, but I think that's just a bit too much for me.
Okay. Lucky last, we have the classic coffee order, the cappuccino.
All right. So for this one, cappuccino. In my head, I'm envisioning you're a vibey person, right?
Yep.
You like hanging out, you like relaxing with your extra foam and your chunky topping. You're probably one of those people that really like to see the steam rising from the milk when it's coming out. You grab a bean bag, you're handheld and sit back and relax, and you would play a little to the left while enjoying your cappuccino.
Yeah, I can feel that. I think you're spot on. I think the cappuccino is the ideal coffee. You got a third coffee, a third milk, a third foam, chocolate on top. It's a good mix, right? You've got the sweetness, you've got the coffee bitterness, you've got the milk in there, and the fun foam, of course. And I think there's no better game to pair with a cappuccino than Pixel Cafe. This one is management sim. It's hectic. Like, it's got a real chaotic vibe, but the story is so just chill, and the whole game is just a vibe. And I feel like it perfectly matches with the vibe of a cappuccino.
It's the vibe of the cappuccino, isn't it?
It is.
It's like, there's just something about a cappuccino that showcases vibiness.
Yeah.
I don't even know how else to, I don't know. Like, I feel like cappuccino is always the one that they show on ads when they're showcasing a new, like, cozy cafe style thing. It's always a cap. Always.
Yeah. I mean, it's the ideal coffee. How would you go past it?
I do like cappuccino. I'm going to out myself here and say that I do like mochas.
I feel betrayed.
I love coffee, but I do like a good mocha as well. But to be fair, I like the mochas that are brutal. And that's why I think I picked Little Nightmares for my one. I like a mocha that it's not, the chocolate isn't the front flavor. It's like a good strong coffee with a hint of chocolate. That's what I like.
I'm an iced latte girly. Give me an iced latte with a bit of vanilla in there. Set. Basic AF. I don't care. I love it anyway. I just love it. It's fine. We can appreciate being basic sometimes, okay?
There's nothing wrong with that unless you drink flat white. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway.
Or a long black. We can't be friends if you drink a long black. Kidding. But anyway. Awkward silence. We are going to wrap this show up there. Thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out and watching the show. We hope you found some new games to wishlist, some new games to play, and some new hatred for certain coffee orders.
There's plenty coming out. There's lots of videos on new games. There's lots of news videos. There's plenty of fun shorts as well, so definitely hop on the channel and give them a look. If you're enjoying the content, consider subscribing. Like I said, there's a lot of content coming out, so it's good bang for your buck.
And until next time,
Stay caffeinated.